Hello, and welcome to another Wealth Talk. In this opportunity, we have the pleasure of interviewing Lalo, Molina, and Gustavo, Bernal, who are making a film to raise awareness of the Foley actors. Foleys are sounds made for videos. Let me talk to you a little bit about these two great guys. Lalo Molina studied film in Mexico City. In 2003, he moved to New York, where he earned a master's in arts in media studies with a focus on film at the New School. Lalo is an independent filmmaker with a versatile track record, shooting and editing creative videos, documentaries, travel shows, news, and a web-branded content for broadcast TV. We also have the pleasure of having Gustavo Bernal here. He started his film career in 1993 as a film editor at Bolivar Films, one of the largest production companies in his native Venezuela. He has earned several international awards and recognitions as director and editor. His passion for advertisement allowed him to become a head producer at WBTV in Latin America, where he has created campaigns for different TV shows. Welcome, Lalo and Gustavo. How did you get here? You know, I've never heard about these. I looked at your video and I'm like, wow. And who are these people? How did you happen to get here?
Well, all started when I was living in LA, studying film school. And the university that I was studying, we have access to Universal Studios to do practice and to produce our own short films. And one day I just went there and went to the Foley studio. I thought I was looking for the prop room and I ended up in the Foley studio. And I didn't know, I thought it was a prop room, but because it's full of props in a way. You know? So
what is a prop? I don't know if people know.
Prop is anything that you can think that it could use to make a noise. Like that's how Foley artists use props, you know. Props in films, they are also anything. Like, for example, it could be a shoe, it could be a gun, or anything you can imagine. So I was fascinated. I met this very old Foley artist there, and then he showed me what Foley was. You know, I didn't even know. This was like in 2001. So after 10 years, I started working in the documentary in 2011. Actually, 10 years, actually.
10 years, yeah. And how did the two of you meet?
Well, a friend of ours introduced us, but it was like probably maybe 5-6 years ago when he came to New York. So they introduced us, and it was more like a common thing because he's an editor, I'm an editor. Mm-hmm. So that's how we met, and then the time passed.
Yeah, back in the day, I was starting to do the project. We did the first interview, you know, and I mentioned, I remember I told you about the idea.
We're in a party, and then he said, "Oh, I have this project," and I said, "Please let me know because I will be interested to help you." I think it's one of the coolest things ever, so I would love to help you out. But then a few years passed, and then you were involved more in the project, and then other things happened. And last year,
I told him, I remember that day that he told me that he was very passionate about it, and I needed an editor. I need someone with a new point of view. You know, I needed someone to start fresh. You know, It's difficult when you start, but you've been working for so long in the same project, and you get attached to the characters, the interviews, you know, and it's difficult to edit sometimes.
Okay, guys. So, what is it that you're trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What is the project?
When a film is shot, you know, the focus, the main focus is in the dialogues, you know, of the actors. So everything else, they're not recording for that, you know, they're recording for the dialogues. Uh-huh. So, for example, when you see a scene of a woman walking and talking in the phone, you know, with high heels, you're not I'm sure that those high heels are going to have rubber or something that will prevent to make a sound, because the main focus of that dialogue is to record that dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else gets like, mute, in a way. And
I mean, the main purpose is basically you have all these isolated sounds that cannot be on set. And these people create those sounds right in the studio, and they need to sound real, they need to sound convincing, and they also perform this like they're acting for this actor. So if a person is walking happy, they need to walk like they're happy. If they're moving like their jacket, it needs to sound like they're really wearing that jacket. What
they mimic the movements if they're making the movement?
Everything. They perform this sound sync to picture, So they're projecting the film, the scene, and they are recreating. They have a really amazing eye and hand coordination, like fantastic. And they perform this sounds sync to picture. For example, bone breaking, every Foley artist, they have different tricks, So one of them, for example, uses celery with a wet chamois, and you hear the sound.
Okay.
That's for fingers, Okay. And for neck, they use sometimes pasta shell.
Rigatoni pasta, yes.
Rigatoni pasta or different kind of pasta, big pasta. And they put it in their mouth, and they do it with a little cavern sound. And they do the neck, the neck kind of sound.
And do you think technology is going to substitute these?
The Foley art is changing through all the sound libraries. They're substituting, and budgets get smaller and smaller. Back in the day, some of the Foley artists they used to tell me that for a film they had 2 weeks to perform the Foley. Today, for the full film they had 2 weeks. Today, if they're lucky, they have 5 days, 4 days sometimes.
Okay.
What it means that in a film, a lot of those sounds, they're coming from library, and they're complementing libraries with the Foley. So the budget of Foley, it gets smaller.
It's getting smaller.
And in 10 years, probably 5, all television, what it is, animation and television, is going to be done by libraries.
So the end goal of this project is to raise awareness and to sort of create some historic evidence of the Foley artists, right? To give voices to those sound artists, right?
Yeah. It's the legacy of this project is to recognize this all this work that they have done. Back in the day when they started, we interviewed the first female Foley artist, and she told me that it was very hard from back in the day to get into the work.
Yeah, they didn't get a credit.
They didn't get credit.
They just work, and there was like they get the money paid, and the Foley artists were getting
under
paid
the table.
It
was cash, no taxes. It was like
And how long ago was this?
That was back in the 50s.
60s.
Not that long ago.
60s.
Yeah. And I think the main origin of Foley was like those radio mystery shows. That was one of the very, very beginning, but of course it wasn't incorporated to films. It was just incorporated to the radio, and that's how some of these concepts they were used on film. In fact, the story of how the Foley started is because they did the movie Spartacus, Stanley Kubrick's Spartacus, if I recall. And basically they shot all these huge scenes with the Roman army, marching all over, and apparently they recorded sound, and when they get to location, when they get back to the studio, the audio was damaged. So basically this guy, Jack Donovan Foley, come up with the idea of using like a set of keys, and he was just shaking the keys, and they replicate the sound, and they use it, and basically that's what is in the film. The documentary is bringing awareness. It's also find a way to show the audience that these people are,
they're vital. They're
important. They're crucial.
An essential, vital process of filmmaking.
So they add some.
Of course, they add. When you see a film, you hear an explosion.
Uh-huh.
That explosion comes from several places, right?
Okay.
Comes from direct sound. They're like people that they do direct sound. They go and do explode things, and you have the big blast, right? But then the debrief of the things, there's like things blowing away, there's like sand, all those little details, all that organic things, Foley artists recreate.
How can we help you reach that goal?
Okay, well, we are trying to raise $45,000 and in 1 month, and half of that money is going to copyrights. Why? Because we're using clips to demonstrate and to show the audience how a film is with Foley and without Foley. So how and the importance that is.
And you also see those scenes. Some of these Foley artists, they actually recreate the Foley for the documentary. So you see them performing those footsteps for a specific movie, or they're doing the sounds for like a suit or like a jacket or different kind of things that they use to create the sounds for those movies. So of course those movies are incorporated into the documentary. So some of the studios are going to get involved, and you need to get permission from them.
Copyright. That's half of the money.
Yes.
The other half is, post-production comes with a lot of like levels, right? And different things. We need color correction.
Mm-hmm.
I shot this film in 4 years. I used 3 different cameras.
Okay.
Some interviews look different than the other ones, so we need like an extensive color correction. We are using a lot of archival footage that is older, so we need to work also in color correction there.
Yeah, of course, the editing, because it's been like a process of a couple of months.
Editing and
sound design. This
design
needs to be mixed
properly. Foley, we're gonna do a Foley. Foley artists, they're gonna do a Foley for the Foley documentary.
Yes.
And then, of course, music. Kickstarter, and donate. We have different rewards. We have from a digital download of the film. We have a Blu-ray. We have T-shirts and tote bags. Mm-hmm. We have the I Heart Foley T-shirt and I Heart Foley tote bag. We're gonna have a poster soon, signed by Foley artists.
Yeah, also there's gonna be postcards. It's gonna be. We're trying to figure. We almost, get ready to do like a clinic with a Foley artist here in New York, and they
a studio
visit in New York and another one in California. So you will meet that person, that Foley artist, and they will, show you how they do their thing.
That's like for the more VIP rewards. It's basically a studio visit to one of this Foley artist studio. Meet them, one of these guys that they have done hundreds of films. They will show you around, and you will get to see how Foley is made, and how it's recorded. We're gonna record a behind the scenes, and you will have that video for you.
So in essence, we need your money. Could be $5, and $5 is I think, and we've been discussing about that. If you get 10 people with $5, we get 50. So
every dollar counts.
Yes.
Every dollar counts.
And if you don't have a dollar, go and spread the word.
Spread the word. Spread the word with everyone you know. Yeah. Everyone.
Right. Twitter, Facebook, anything.
Okay. Do you have a hashtag on Twitter or not?
Hashtag Actors of Sound. And Twitter handle is at Actors of Sound.
Okay, good. And you have the Kickstarter campaign, Actors of Sound. It ends the 13th of June.
June 13 at 12 p.m.
Okay. So congratulations, you already have 68 backers as of May 22nd. For a grand total of $10,000, a little bit more than that. Please make sure that you support this great team. Thank you very much for being with us from New York to Silicon Valley. I hope I can see that film very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.